Hey guys, welcome back to Above End. This is part 2 of the Mind Train section here. I didn't feel like I could call this video Mind Train Queues part 2 since I'm not really doing a lot of queue work. It's mainly the first station and a little bit of the exit path that gives a little go in today's video. So sorry for a little bit misleading title, or if you guys thought it was the queues, then it's basically just the station here. So that's why I'm calling it Mind Train Station Part 2. So yeah, but that was just for making something clear. And also, if you didn't get to see Operateurs' last video, I think you should go check it out. He did something pretty cool, so you should definitely go see it if you haven't already. But guys, today's video, as I said, I'm doing some station work on the first coaster, which me and Operateur have talked about what we should call the coasters, and we got to a point that this one should definitely be like the digger, since it's like a mine, and it goes well with, like, yeah, as I say, mine, so mine digger in that way. So I'm kind of trying to theme this area to be super busy with all kinds of stuff that you need for like a digger expedition. So what you see me do here first is that I'm making this little booth for the ride here, where I'm also doing some fiddling. You see me here first trying some stuff out, and then I'll add some stuff, remove, like, you know, I'm always do. So I thought that it would be kind of cool to have it enclosed here with a fence here, but then afterwards I kind of felt like it was meh, so I'm removing that fence at some point in the video. But I was pretty sure or pretty confident about which theme I should go for this. Kind of like just go with the same I did on the queue and kind of like mix and match all things together. So I just try to place one piece at a time, see where it takes me, and I'm also doing some texture and some rock work beneath here inside the cave as well, to give it some to make it look very authentic, in that way that they're actually built underneath some mountain and some terrain, and yeah, you know, and also a lot of support work is also something I'm gonna do in this video. So yeah, I think that this area is looking after this video super cool. I feel like that this area is almost done. I still need some different areas a little bit around this station, but there's a good potion, or no, not potion, section, I mean, of this area that's get done today. And as I said, I feel like I could just go into this theme because it's been a long time since I did something like this, and I'm really liking how I can kind of like try to use all these wooden planks and a little bit rustic and a little bit broken up stuff. You know, I'm really liking to build this kind of stuff. So I just went with it and kind of just went with the same theme I did a few places around, and tried to give it some support work, some planks, try to make it look decent. And I have also added some shops at the exit here, as you see, which I'm also decorating in this video. I put in a staff house and a toilet too, because while I was building also last time, the guests were always going around, and yeah, they were looking for a toilet, so I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna put a toilet down here and try to detail it as good as I can. But for today's video, I think it's the staff and the two shops that gets like a little decoration on them, and the rest here is just gonna be assets and scenery, and yeah. And as I said, guys, it's a lot of fiddling, so I add and remove stuff all the time. Every time I kind of like put a piece down, I was unsure if it was the right choice, and then I was like, what if I do this instead and this, and sometimes it just works better than try multiple options that just go with the first try. And if you just are a little bit doubtful about it, you should definitely just try to do something better that will satisfy your needs or something like that. Because I feel it so much when I build. Like if I've added something, and then in the start I was kind of satisfied with it, but it's the kinda that does it that I'm not entirely sure if it was the right thing. And then as soon as I added more stuff, kind of like feel nah, it doesn't belong here. As I do with the fence around the ride booth, where you saw me place that little metal fence. Here between the two shops here, it was actually just a little I improvised here because I didn't want it to. I didn't want it to make it like a little house so both of them were connected. I wanted to make like a little distance between them. So what I did here is that some sort of little storage shelf where I placed down these scaffolding. I thought they would go well if I just played some planks on, which you also will see me do a little bit later on. At this point when I placed them, I didn't exactly have the idea of what I wanted to do with it. It was hanging a little bit in the air, but as soon as I got the idea of what I wanted, then it just went off. Here I'm making this little shop canopy, or how we're gonna call it, over this, and I'm using the corrugated iron roof because I feel like I also used it on the station, so it would not look super weird to have it here. And it's also very Mind Shack-ish to have something like that as well. The woodwork was still a pain, as I said in the first part of this build here. Is I have to wait for them always to get in an angle because they do that. They bend. So sometimes they go where they don't bend, and sometimes you have to wait a little bit and stuff. So, but it's okay. You get used to it eventually when you build with these pillars. It would have been nice though if we actually got this texture. Or we do kind of have them, but they're a little bit thinner, and then they're like on the grid, which is kind of annoying. But I'm basically just making this area super busy, guys. Kind of like what I said about it in the last video, that my goal with this area is to make it look super busy, like everything is going on here. And now when it's not, we can place a lot of, like, I was thinking about placing some minecarts as well and stuff, but I don't think that goes super well. Maybe we'll place something inside the cave, I don't know yet, but at this point here at the station, I wasn't entirely sure if I could place something there. So it's a little bit in the hangar for now, if what I wanted to do about that part, or if I should just keep it clean as it is and not have all those materials around, and just have it like this super pale, clean, wooden vibe here. At some points, I do work a little bit further over at the next area where the other station is, but that's just more to, sometimes you get that little thing where you have to like brainstorm for like 2 minutes to see where can I go now, and then you just do some other stuff that is like a little bit unnecessary, but you still have to do it at some point. So that's also what you guys are seeing me do sometimes. For the next video of this, I'll probably go over to the next station, and that part after that I can mainly try to figure out how to detail the last part of the queues. Because I feel like the other station should be a little bit more unique, maybe a little bit more... I think we're gonna call it the Explorer, so maybe have that some sort of a little station-ish underground. Make it feel more traveler-ish, like that. We don't want all these materials here, where at this station here we have dynamite, we have barrels. Of course, barrels always works, but all the dynamite stuff, all the explosion stuff, And at the other station, I might do something more with like suitcases and what are they called, trolleys, where you can move them around. And not that you need suitcases for a mine exploration, but just to give the vibe or something. Like, I'll figure something out, but that's kind of like the idea I have. But both coasters is gonna be themed same style as soon as you enter the cave. It's mainly just the stations, because the coasters are dueling, so they're gonna like you can't really theme them very different unless it's left and right side, and then it would just look super weird. And Oberteur already did a lot of stuff on the coasters, so I think it's okay for now. That I'm doing this where I have these two stations and then the same the same theming on the coaster as soon as you enter is kind of similar, because it is kind of what it is, you know. Even though it's the digger and an explorer, then they still go through the same stuff. But we might add some drills, digger, yeah, something that where it kind of gives the vibe about it. It's still in the brainstorm, but we're gonna add something to it. Here you see me start a little bit on the support work and on a little bit of shrubs and rock and all that stuff, because I didn't do it in the first video because I thought it was actually gonna be super tedious work, but then I kind of like just made this little clump of rocks in a little blueprint, and then I kind of like just turned them around, and so it's still the same 5 or 6 rocks I have, but if I turn them around a little bit and stuff, it doesn't look super at the same. Like the texture doesn't look at the same, and also when I have added all this shrubs around, so it kind of feels like that they have actually digged inside this cave here, and all the roots and shrubs are growing out of it. Which I think Oberteur also did some places as well in the cave. So I think it added such a nice vibe to it. I just started doing it a little bit first just to see how it went and how it would look. I was quite satisfied on how it looked with all the rocks and the shrubs and all that stuff. So I'm definitely gonna keep that going all the way down to the other station as well. Just have it all the way around down this cave, because the area when it comes to it, it's not that big. Because as you see here, when the video is done here, I actually almost made half of the area. And the queues are not that important because I already did some of that, so it's mainly the other station I need to focus on next. And then afterwards, I might consider starting on some destruction, some of those buildings that we need to do at the wasteland, because I feel like I need to go there now. I feel like I'm going in that path that I feel like I want to build some derelict. Oh, I'm so bad at that word. Buildings, or at least try to find a concept, trying to find a style of it, and yeah, that's kind of what I think I'm gonna do after I finish this entire section here, unless Oberteur or me just all of a sudden get figured out that we need to do this faster or something. I don't know, something can happen, but for now I kind of feel like that's what I want to approach next in this series here. But the station here is pretty basic. It's not a super fancy station. I mean, if you think about the theming, well, it's quite neat. But the station itself with the house here on the lake, or the shack, or what we're gonna call it, it's not like super impressive. It's like a shack with those spooky wall set, I think it is. But they kind of give that authentic sandy mine vibe. That's why I kind of like just went with it and kind of made a whole shack around it, or with it. And here I'm just kind of like making all the planks all the way around. As you can see, this part of the station is not gonna get any theming. It's mainly just the planks I placed down just to get a feeling on how it would look. But as soon as the mojo kind of hit me, this entire scene wasn't actually such of a problem for me. It just went on and on and on with like ideas, and also I kind of could make it a little bit repetitive. Like, it is a mine shaft, you know, and it doesn't have to be super pretty down here. So it's kind of nice that I can just build it a little bit messy, but also keep it at a nice perspective of control, so it doesn't get super crazy with stuff that is totally unnecessary. So I'm quite okay with that for now. And I think also that I don't know if the lighting is okay for now. There's no lighting cinematics in this one, unfortunately, as there were in the first one. But I think you will get some small shots of it in the video when I play around a little bit with it. But I think the nighttime ambience and just everything down here is super cool. There's like a warm, nice atmosphere and also busy. So, and I can also imagine with even more people and stuff coming down here, and the other side will be themed too, and all this kind of plain texture you see on the terrain will kind of be hidden off too, and all that stuff. So, yeah. But for now, guys, it's not a super long video this time. Because I feel like after this, after I kind of finish this, I wanted to stop and build further on in the next video for you guys. Because I feel like this was okay, presentable enough to stop now. Because I think I might have been able to add some more stuff, but sometimes the stuff I place is like some of the stuff you don't even see in this video. I also figured it out while I was placing them. You see me place a barrel inside of a house at some point, or shit, which is kind of like, why? But I don't think about it in the progress, you know, just afterwards when I'm like, why did I place the barrel there? You don't even see it. But anyways, so, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna give you a song or two, and I will get back to you before the cinematic. So enjoy the music, guys. Alright, guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the song. Um, you saw me do a little bit more stuff here. I made one more shack because I felt like that the terrain needed to be a little bit hidden away again here in the back. I felt there was too much of it. And so I felt like I just needed to make one more little shack that was basically like the same as the one you see at the station, but kind of make it feel like a storage instead. So that is what you're seeing me do here, which is also the thing I said with the barrel I place. You will probably see it at some point, me placing it behind the wall where literally no one sees it. Like here, yeah, you saw it right there. But here I'm just going crazy with all kinds of scenery bits here. The usual barrel, the dynamite, the small bags, the crates, and adding up a little bit of ropes as well, making some clutter. You know, guys, the same old stuff as I usually do. But as soon as all this stuff gets together, though, the vibe gets so different. Literally feel like it's a mine shaft. Like you know what it's for down here when you come down here, and that was kind of like the effect I wanted to have here. And also just all the busyness. I really like how it looks with all the supports and just the people walking around and the train going, also the other train going. And when you hear it, when you hear like how the sound is too, with the people standing and you hear the coasters going around, and everything is just super cool down here. Um, and I did get into an issue though with some of the supports, as you see here, because some of it is a little bit above and some of it below, and if I got further into it, it would kind of ruin the bridge I made in the previous episode. So I had to improvise and make some of them shorter, and then make some of them still go further over to the other station, which I also gonna add there, as I said. So everything is kind of like, it's gonna be put together, but there are also gonna be some bits where it's like a little bit off and stuff. But that's kind of okay when you're making a mine shack, mine shaft. I'm also doing this sort of little, it was a little idea I got where I'm taking this crate and filling it up with those rock crumbles, and kind of make it feel like that this is kind of like, you know, small dust and, yeah, you know, basically just crumble from the mine. It's a shame I couldn't color them to the terrain color or the rock color, but it looks super cool though. But I think I used a lot of time on just see if I have to have shovel there or an axe, because yeah, I sometimes I use a crazy amount of minutes on stuff where it's so simple to decide sometimes. You see it here actually when we come to it. I placed down all the rock crumple here, and then I figured out where to place these freaking shells. But I decided to take the axes because, of course, it makes more sense to have axes in a mine shaft. So I went with that instead. But it's kind of funny sometimes, like, you see it here, the speed, but it was actually like 15 minutes I used on just deciding if I wanted a shovel or an axe. So ridiculous. But I got to it though. We're almost going over to the end here now, guys. But I'm just adding the last bits here, just making it super busy, filling up some spots where I felt like it needed a little bit more stuff. So I feel like now that this section, as I said, is done. I'm not sure if I actually should give the path some woodwork too, but I will decide that further on. But for now, it's just gonna be the path you're gonna see here. But I do end up adding a little bit of stuff here to these buildings, and I'll probably also make the toilet building the same style, but also with a door as I did to the staff building. Kind of like just hide them away, but still make it feel like everything is kind of included, or like incorporated into each other. Like all thing here is kind of like the same. So, but anyways, guys, we're at the end. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. And yeah, guys, have an awesome day and take care. Enjoy the cinematics. Bye.